What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and today I'm going to be jumping into the fourth deal that I ever did, which is actually a duplex, and this is going in order with the series of every door I've ever purchased, from my first one all the way to the 63 doors that I own today. And this one has some special meaning to me because I think it is the best deal that I've ever landed purchase price wise. It also is the deal that in the last 5 years has probably caused me the most issues with stupid mistakes that I've made. So I'm gonna go through all of the big mistakes I made in this duplex and what I did to pull off an incredible deal to where even after making all of these mistakes, it still turned out to be an incredible investment. So let's jump into it. The first thing you need to know about this deal is how I was able to find it. Now, I had just come off of purchasing my condo, a duplex that was really doing well, and I was super hungry to grow because I still had a little money in the bank and I was wanting to deploy it into real estate because I knew at this point that this was something that was gonna be awesome for my future. So I immediately, after the last duplex I closed on, was looking everywhere for another duplex. And what happened is, in the specific area that I was looking, I wasn't having a ton of luck and I was getting really greedy to get into that next deal. So I kind of opened up my search and I was willing to buy anywhere in Idaho Falls. I literally just wanted to find that next deal. And so I was looking on the MLS, I was looking on Zillow, I was driving neighborhoods all over the place, and one night late in the evening, I saw something new pop up on Craigslist. And I was looking at Craigslist like every single hour, just hoping to find another for sale by owner, because the last two had just gone so well that I really wanted to find another for sale by owner. And so when I was looking, I saw this duplex pop up and I was like, oh man, this is it. The second it popped up, I got him on the phone and I said, hey, is there any way you can meet me there tonight? I would love the opportunity to come and look at it. And so when I got over there, I kind of pitched myself and I said, look, I just closed on another duplex. My financing is all ready to go. I've got a picture right here of my pre-approval letter. This is exactly what I'm looking for. And if we can get the numbers right, I literally could close on this within 20 days. So we got inside and the unit was incredible. Like, it was super clean. He had just cleaned everything up, and it was the same situation as the one I had just purchased where there was no one living in it. And I thought, holy cow, this is the best. Upstairs is open, downstairs is open. I can set the rents wherever I want, and if I can get this purchase price right, this could be an incredible deal for me. Now here's the thing, is I was still pretty hung up on the rents on the other side of town, and this unit was just as good, if not better, than the one that I had purchased on the other side of town. And so I was all in on this. We went back and forth on the price, and it's hilarious because originally the guy said $86,000 if I could close that quick. And I was like, oh, deal, let's do it. Let's close tonight. Like, let's make this happen. And so I went away, we had it all put together. We went in to do the deal. And when we went to do the deal, he bumped it up to $89,000. And I think because of my enthusiasm and because honestly, I didn't negotiate that well, I think he's like, holy cow, this kid was just willing to roll over for anything. So I'm gonna try and get as much as I can out of him. And for me, because I knew what I thought I could rent this unit for, I was like, what the heck, 86, 89? What do I care? It's under $90,000. And if it's like my last one, I should be able to rent it for $1,400 a month. So this is gonna be an incredible deal. Now, we got the deal in motion. We went in, did the for sale by owner paperwork, and he was kind of clueless on the for sale by owner paperwork. So with my situation, he took me on the price, and I said, look, man, you said $86,000. And I kind of pushed him and we went back and forth, and I said, that's fine, but you've got to cover the closing costs because that's a joke. Now the thing was, is this guy had owned it in cash. And so I don't think he knew how much actually went in to closing costs, because when we got to closing day and he realized it was around 2% he was paying on top of it, he's like, what the heck? I didn't agree to this. What's all this other money coming from? But at that point, the deal was already closed. So even though I was stupid in my early negotiation, I kind of got a little bit of revenge in the later negotiation working out the closing costs, so it still ended up being just a screaming deal. During the process, I also was able to kind of mend the relationship, and we were both happy with it, and he came clean and let me know that he wanted out of the unit because he had dealt with so many evictions, like literally back-to-back evictions, upstairs, downstairs, just because this part of the neighborhood wasn't necessarily the best part of town. Now for me, I was like, hey, I'm not worried about it. I got a management company. We'll just take it as it comes. But I came to realize really quickly, if you don't get the right tenants in a kind of crappy part of town, even if your unit is really nice, clean, well taken care of, you can end up in a world of hurt. And what happened to me is right away with this one, we rented it quick, but we learned from our experience in the other one. So we're like, you know what? We're gonna do the background check, we're gonna do the credit check, we're gonna find good tenants, and we found awesome tenants. We had a year of complete and total bliss in this unit. We were cash flowing like crazy. I didn't get the rents quite as high as at the other one, but I think we were still like $1,200 or $1,300 a month on this property. And so I was stoked out of my mind, and I kind of just checked it off my list. I wasn't worried about it. And so what happened is after a year had gone by, I think my management company kind of checked it off their list as well. And what happened is they even had a next group of tenants come in that were awesome, no complaints, no issues. I mean, we maybe had a couple late payments on the basement unit that was renting for less, but overall, it wasn't an issue at all. We were making great money, and it was an awesome situation. However, years down the road, we ended up dealing with a couple really nasty evictions. The first one we plugged in, and they probably weren't the best tenants, but we wanted to just get it filled, and we'd had good luck, and so the management company threw someone in there that they still did the background check, they still did the credit check, but they were a little more lenient on what they were looking for. So after a couple months, this person wasn't making payments, and we had to evict them. Now what happened with them is we put eviction papers up, and within a month, they just left on their own. So it wasn't an issue at all. It was still awesome. We plugged someone else in, and we were good to go. Where it got tricky is just this last year, we had another tenant that went in. Now, again, we weren't super strict, but we still did a little checking, and we put what we thought was a good tenant in the basement unit. We started getting complaints from our good tenant upstairs saying, look, we've got drugs, alcohol, orgies, all kinds of weird stuff going in the basement, and we're sick of dealing with it. We want you guys to figure out what's going on and either get rid of this tenant or do something so we don't have to deal with this. We started going to the tenant, and it was like when we started bringing up these complaints, then they started paying their rent later and later. We started having more and more complaints. We weren't getting paid for it. Pretty soon we're in this nasty mess where they're behind. We're going through the eviction process, but because we hadn't actually had to go through it start to finish, we missed a court date, and pretty soon it had gotten dragged out forever. They'd done tons of damage in the basement, and we found ourselves in a real crap situation. Even with this crap situation, I've still gotten way more of a return overall on this property than I ever could have imagined getting. I mean, it was awesome because we've had so many good tenants in there building up until we got this bad one. However, it really hurts to see a couple months go by not making rents and to end up having to deal with an eviction, all of that trash, getting them out, redoing the apartments. And so it turned into something where it was a big learning experience to where I don't want us to get lazy. I think the big mistake people make is they're so worried about getting their units filled that they're not willing to wait an extra week to get it filled with the right person. So what I learned from this is make sure you keep your tenants taken care of, and make sure that you do that by taking care of the property. The cleaner the property is, the more quality of a tenant you're going to be able to find. And I think the other mistake we had made with this is we'd had multiple tenants, but we hadn't really done any major fix-ups or tidy-ups after the tenant would leave. I mean, we'd clean the carpet and scrub the walls, but it was starting to look dated, and that was bringing in a different kind of tenant. So we should have gone in and really spruced it up after each tenant so that we could get the kind of tenant we want. Because I look at that little expense, had we gone in and made the right decision and just taken care of our tenants, that would have made a world of difference in finding the right tenant. On top of that, we shouldn't have gotten lazy in what we were looking for. Now I say we, but the reality is it was 100% my management company, and I'm not at all throwing them under the bus because they are incredible. This might have been an awesome tenant by every standard that got into drugs and things just went downhill, because I now have over 60 units of buy and hold real estate, and this is the only eviction we've had to go all the way start to finish, go be in front of the judge, go through all of that crap of getting them kicked out, and it was a total nightmare. But when you look at the overall expenses of all of my units and all of the evictions, the vacancy, everything else, my management company has done so well. And even though this has been frustrating to see time go by where I wasn't getting rents coming in, it really wasn't that frustrating when you look at the big picture and you say, wow, you planned on big expenses, and even though you've had this vacancy and this issue, overall, you planned for way more than you've actually used, so it hasn't ended up being a big issue. So it comes back to the big point I always make of make sure you get a good management company like I have. Make sure you plan for those expenses. Make sure you take care of your tenants and make the fixes necessary. I mean, this was kind of a shock to reality where a lot of times I'll push my management company and say, look, make it nice, but don't overspend. And I think I've kind of changed my mentality where it's like, look, even if it takes a little overspending, make sure that these units always look good before we rent them. So with this unit, it's made us go in and change the stairs into the unit. We've repainted, we've refloored, we've changed the kitchen cabinets, we've cleaned up the bathroom, and it's given us this opportunity to say, all right, we want to take pride in the units that we're providing for people, and as we do that, we will find tenants that take pride in where they live and take care of it for us. So that's my advice. Make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you push the like button and subscribe to the channel, and look forward to watching the other deals that I've done, because I've learned so many things through trial and error and the mistakes that I've made. And that's why I've done this series of every single door from start to finish, my first door all the way to my 63rd, so that you can see the things that I've done and done wrong, and I'm hoping that will help you to create a huge passive income for yourself. So thanks again, guys, and have a great day.